FPX beat them now. They didn't. Oh, how about this time? No, it still didn't work out. And it was always that sort of exciting match we were looking forward to, but G2 always won. Now, G2, since then, haven't played them because they never really qualified. So now we have a brand new roster, completely changed up. It's looking hot to trot, and honestly, I think this is going to be another classic.
Yeah, I think when you look at FPX right now, they've never actually had the chance to beat G2. They overtook them as the #1 team, but organization versus organization, they never got what they really wanted, that revenge. And now we're going to start out the pistol round here on Icebox with a 1-to-1 trade. It's Mixwell over on the G2 side, playing the Viper, who's managing to get that opening. And he was unbelievable last time that we saw him play.
Yeah, one of the best bind performances I've ever seen from any player individually. He was playing a lurk role that was just unbelievable. Now, Nuki's playing an Omen. It's not something I've got to witness just yet. I think he played against No Poaching doing this and then switched back to Arena for their next matchup. So I was thinking, okay, it's just a one-off, trying something, didn't really work. But no, they brought it back. They're using it versus FPX. And unfortunately, in this round at least, well, it hasn't gone great.
No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. Only Goldamenta left alive, and he's gone pretty quickly. 1-0. FPX take the lead here on Icebox defensive side. That's a good start for them, but they've got to convert it over in the second round. And we know G2 is a confident team. It's never really impossible for them to go for a force buy, but on this map in particular, I would imagine this should be an easy conversion up against Classics.
Yeah, you'd assume so. Now, obviously for G2 starting out, they're going to be on that attack side. And this is something that I think we've always highlighted, even with the old G2 roster, is their attack side on this map is fearsome. They've had some truly dominant performances in the past. And I wouldn't be surprised to see something of the sort. Like, you look at No Poaching, 9 rounds versus Vitality, 8 rounds, although that did go to overtime. So take that one as you will. But realistically, that's what we're expecting. Strong attack sides, and it's up to FPX to try and shut them down, which, you know what? If any team is going to do it, I would believe in this one.
There's actually a lot committed in this round. Straight off the bat, you're seeing a drone used to clear out the B site. You're seeing a wall put up, and they've not managed to get that spike down. That's going to cost them extra time, but they'll still get it in the end. For G2, this has been a pretty hefty investment, especially when you look at some of the pistols that they have in play. I believe Kellogg's bought up a Sheriff as well, so they've got some capability to take long-range fights. But that wall down from Angel, it sections them off and leaves Avova isolated. Now, though, he's got support in the form of Kellogg's, but a missed shot makes it that little bit more difficult. Both Angel and Zipan are one hit to the body by these Sheriffs. Angel goes down right off the bat, but the defuse is underway, and Nuke needs to wide swing. He gets the first, and it's not managed to pull him off the defuse in time. Xiao just about sneaking that one through, but they have lost a lot of players in that round. Everyone on FPX dying in the end.
Yeah, okay, it doesn't say one at the top, but I'm giving that to G2 as a victory. Like, they don't take the round, but the amount of economic damage they will have done to FPX is going to make this one incredibly difficult. Now, again, we're talking about like sort of switch-ups that we're seeing from the different rosters. I was really excited today coming in because I was like, you know what? I'm probably going to get to see Xiao on a raise. We're not seeing Xiao on a raise. In fact, we got Zipan going back to the Sage as well. Something we actually highlighted when we saw them play recently versus Vitality was them not having the Sage coming in. It made some of those executions a little bit awkward, especially on the B site. They almost had to take a lot more control than they would have liked to. So I like the change. A little bit disappointed because I do love watching Xiao playing a raise. But you know what? I think for the comp itself, it is an improvement.
Yeah, when you look at the spot that they're in now, well, that's not ideal. You really need this to be a round win for FPX. Otherwise, they fall massively behind. That early round advantage that they got completely dissipates. But it hasn't started out well. Angel goes down and Dima gets tagged up by the drone, spammed in the wall, putting them at a 2-man disadvantage, retaking the B side. And most importantly, Tom, they don't have their Viper anymore to use that wall to block off vision. At this point, they might even be considering a save.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but I can definitely understand why you might want to keep something into this. I'm seeing more and more of those block guns, and honestly, like...
Minimas.
It's just hideous.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I don't know. I don't know why people are using them.
Maybe it's a secret. Like that's the only thing.
Mixwell. Oh no, this could be the operator dropped. The dash is even heard. Mixwell knows now these players are towards the spawn, and he's gonna pick off 2 of them. That is disgusting. Even if he even gets the last one. Every single weapon dropped. Oh, that is devastating. Not only is Mixwell off to a spectacular start, but FPX, they didn't go for that round because they really wanted those weapons. And instead, they've lost them all for nothing. Oh.
Nuki just like, what's going on, dude?
Yeah, that was a spectacular replay. Nuki is having a great time.
What you don't know is the comms. He was like, right, there's one there. No, aim to the left a bit.
Yeah,
right. He was actually telling them exactly what to do.
He was watching the mini map, just like marking exactly where they were. That's what that was. Just for you guys at home, you couldn't see it, but yeah, that's what Nuki was up to. That's why he's on the Omen.
Of course. He's lurking in the shadows. He's always watching. You gotta be careful.
There you go.
That might be one of my favorite replays ever. It's almost like the sort of John Travolta meme where he's just looking around and there's absolutely no one there.
That was... Hey, what? Anyways, Mixwell got a lot of kills, and we saw that, so that was fun. He did a great job, man. Shutting down those weapons puts FPX on a very, very weak buy, and pretty much guarantees the G2 equalize that scoreline. But what's even more important than hitting the 2-2 early on is the fact that they break the FPX economy, and they set themselves up well coming into the future rounds. So it's important here that they get away with pretty much all their weapons, right? They want to build up that money. The more the merrier, and for FPX, the name of the game is dealing damage, which will be difficult on a B retake and against a Viper's Pit. That seems like very early commitment of the ultimate.
I don't mind it, as long as they keep it clean. Like, if this is going to be used to basically build up your economy and make sure there's absolutely no chance for any FPX shenanigans, I'm all right with it. Like, just make this as awkward as humanly possible. And you know what? With the amount of kills that Mixwell is getting, it'll be back in no time. Like, the man is just farming up those stats. As said, like, in some of the early performances we saw versus Fnatic going through the qualifier, he was truly unbelievable. And I have to admit, like, him moving into, on some maps, more of a lurk role, definitely, I want to say sort of a supportive agent, but it hasn't really looked in that way, with a lot more utility to use. I was thinking, okay, now he'll fall back a bit and we'll see the other players like sort of step up. You get more from Kellogg's, you'll get more from Nuki. They'll be the pinnacles and he'll just sort of sit in the back and sort of set people up and basically just work around them. Instead, he's almost gone, oh no, I'm still the man to watch, but now I'm playing Viper.
Well, he's definitely showing that agent's a little bit more than a supportive character. I mean, there's been lots of people proving that in the past. True. Kellogg's is feeling it. Look at that. He's trying to bait people out into peeking by shooting on top of the tube. He's going down below middle and holding that control and looking for a light flank on these guys. It's actually massive having him in this position. Your A players now feel so much more confident to push forward, and that wall pretty much discounts any form of mid-split in FPX's mind. You don't imagine they're going to send a player through when they've smoked off that angle, right? And that gives Kellogg's the perfect opportunity to get the jump on these players.
Good start as well. Shadow already being dropped now. Zepan is very close to the res, so a single kill here could actually make a huge difference for this round, but they're already getting in on the execution. The plant looking to come in. Demasik trying to lurk around the edge. There'll be a free kill for him at least, but the trades come in thick and fast, still leaving this with an advantage in the favor of G2. Now Angel, he's desperately trying to clear out the site, but they're actually quite far back at this point. The peak, though, actually hands him a kill.
That could be a way back in. An opening for them. Coldamenta coming around the side. That spike already halfway defused. It's going to be fully, and they're not able to stop him. FPX are just getting away with these non-stop defusing the spike from right underneath G2's nose. And that's 3-2. Not only was that kill a way back into the round, but a way back into the lead as well.
I'm very surprised that he was just allowed to stick that all the way. I guess a lot of the players further back, Nuki a little bit low, maybe just expecting that to be a bait, the smoke leaving him a little bit shrouded out of position, but no, that's a surprise. He's able to get away with that, and clearly from Mixwell's perspective, it's like, okay, if I can get this kill, round is over, round is done, but it would have been a little bit safer, I guess, to sit back patiently. Now, it's going to give FPX back the lead. Now, I have a lot of faith in their attack side as well, so I do still look at this for G2 as one that they need to be winning at a half.
Yeah, I can see that for sure, especially with it like this lineup. Just take a look at it. You imagine when they've got the free reign to play attack, they're going to do well. And Mixwell, he's the one I'm keeping my eye on for now. He's crept his way up through middle, and nobody spotted him on the cross. Very valuable map control, and right below them in mid, he's going to be taken down. With Zipan and Xiao both finding frags, that puts G2 in a bit of a tough spot. They basically have to just go for a heads-up push on B at this point. And with a wall to play with from Avova, it's going to be their best shot, actually used aggressively, but he gets spotted up above. And now this plant is in danger. Those players being swung on towards yellow. Coldamenta is at least able to take down one, but FPX can gather their troops and go in for this one. In fact, they don't even need to. The duels are offered up right off the bat. And Kellox has very little hope with his knife out and a flank from Dimisic to close the round.
Yeah, again, this was one of those rounds where you're almost hoping that your remaining players on the other side of the map can cut off rotations, do a little bit of damage, try and pull some players away. The second both of those 1v1 duels are lost, it does become a very, very difficult take. And they get a plant. They also take one back to make it a 4 versus 3. But by that point, they've lost all map control. They're being pushed from mid, pushed from behind. It was never really going to happen. And again, like I think some of the earlier matches we saw from FPX, I always hate to say it, but I feel like some of their players just came into them really cold. Like, I think one of the first buying games we watched where they ended up winning the second half with like 9 rounds, I think it was. That first half, they were missing shots, which is something I've never said about FPX. So definitely can't count them out of this match just yet. Xiao, you love to see it. They've given him this up. They've given him the opportunity to take those fights, and he's rewarding them.
You will not.
No, we knew that he was going to be a capable player. There's the res, though, to bring Kellogg's back online. And G2 now able to push into the site and garner that little bit of extra control. Or garnish, as Vansili would say. Shadow, not able to get away with that one. And now the opening is there. They can get on this site for the plant, but they just keep on taking kills. Why wouldn't you? 2-man advantage as FPX cower back, and Kellogg's comes in with the ultimate. The first kill is his, but Xiao trades it back. It's doable. It is winnable, but that spike, it's going to be planted eventually, Tom. They're going to get it down.
They don't need the spike. They're just going to kill everyone. They're going to even push onto Xiao. Last bullet left. Now, he would have to not only get the ace, he has to get, like, the ace +1. This would have to be 6 kills in the round for him to somehow manage to pull this one back. I doubt we're going to see him go for this unless someone hands him a freebie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they've got to run forward and give him a kill. Otherwise, he is saving this weapon. It's too valuable to just throw away. He will stick around for a while, and I think primarily because he still has a dash, so he can get out of here. The risk is we see Nukia moving down towards spawn, and if he comes up through middle, he can completely cut Xiao off. But it looks like everybody is going towards the spawn, so it's okay. The vision I had was Avova, Coldamenta. They move towards defender spawn. You know, Xiao dashes down mid and then gets caught, but instead, he will actually be able to save this operator, not like the last time that they tried to make a save happen and Mixwell just tore them a new one.
I really like the fact as well that Coldamenta, to escape that, he just uses his dart at the end. He just goes, you know what, I'll just use my dart so that if he wants to try and face into this, he has to get scanned up and give us all the information. And if not, he's going to hide, and I'm able to cross back out of the site. No problems. Make sure we keep our weapons. Because at the moment, for G2, that's the most important thing. Like, they have a little bit of bank, but it's not anything that's going to give them a full rebuy if they lose the majority of their weapons. So, I like the fact that he's just playing that one nice and safe. Kellogg's, though, the opposite. The man has literally been put into play that they have counter Viper utility. Oh, you want to go up on the boost? You want to get on top of tube? No.
It's taken him down from that position, but it hasn't stopped his idea of playing aggressive. Kellogg's wants to move up through the tube. You know, at least destroy the tripwire. A play that I've been a big fan of for a long time was having Cypher on this map for tube control. You've heard me talk about it a million times on broadcast, and I love seeing Dimisic do it. Now that G2 have identified it, though, it'll become a pretty normal feature to go in and destroy that. And so FPX have a choice of how do they counter it? Put another one down? Sure, but he's destroyed that too. Now you've got to play for that control. You've got to fight for it. And Dimisic, he's looking for a headshot, but Kellogg's has already bailed. FPX FPX have dragged, G2 have dragged this team towards Kitchen and Tube, and they're just going to run out on B now, knowing that the majority of the forces have shifted over. But in fact, FPX have started a rotate of their own. Now they've got 3 players close sight, plus Angel on the way to help. This could be huge.
Puts them into a 5 versus 4 situation. Still got the Blade Storm if necessary, and maybe even a Neural Theft to try and clear out the last few members. They do have to be a little bit careful, though, of Oversat in this corner. We've seen him do so much damage before. We know the individual skill of this man. Nuki already picking off one. They actually don't clear him, and they're slowly being picked apart. It comes down to the 1 versus 1, and Shao will just about drag it through. You almost just think, if Avova gets that kill on him, that is actually the round done. Yep. Too close for comfort for FPX, but they will get through it nonetheless, as they have a 5th on the board.
Avova's definitely kicking himself now, knowing he could have gotten that first kill, tagged him up down to 70. If that was a headshot, the round is theirs, but instead, FPX take that 5-3. Some very tight rounds coming out. Considering how they start, you know, it looked there like FPX had it all red. They had the right rotates to get into the B side. They had Angel cut off the flanker as well in the form of Mixwell, and still they end up in a spot where they have to rely on Shao picking up 2 very quick kills that he was barely alive to find in the first place. It's not exactly the FPX that we want to see, but it is a lead, and they'll take it for now as G2 come in again with weapons. But if they lose this one, I don't think that's going to be the case anymore.
And that's the thing as well, like, they win this round, we're looking at probably a victory in the half. Shao, though, this is an aggressive angle. Of course, the dash available to him to get out of this, so it's absolutely fine. Not going to be a problem. Now, we do have the Viper's Pit once again. As I said, it's being up very quickly. Never mind, we don't! Shao's just peeked back in and killed off Mixwell. That operator in his hands is looking fierce.
God, that is pretty massive. Not going to be any Viper's Pit to play into here, and that could have really bridged the gap for G2. Now they have to do it on raw aim, and they're locked out of the sight. The spray with the Vandal, well, it's not going to work. There's 5 players staring at him, and although Coldamenta picks up 1, that will be all he gets. We go to another defuse for FPX, another round win, getting them 6-3 on the board, despite some incredibly close rounds to start things out. G2 are behind like quite a bit, and now facing into a pretty tough situation, because Tom, you said that you want G2 to win this half.
Yeah.
Now it's looking unlikely that they even tie it.
Yeah, I think for this to be like a massively competitive game, either they're going to have to pull off something really impressive. Well, they will have to pull off something impressive on the defense, but they've always been better on the attack. Like, even with this iteration of the roster. Now, sure, in a lot of cases, they won the attack by enough that it didn't necessarily matter so much how their defense was played. It was mainly versus Vitality where I feel like they struggled a little bit when it came to the defensive side. The other thing as well I want to mention, just quickly, is seeing Shao almost like the Party Pirates Day, back on a duelist, brawling with everyone. Yes. I love it.
Return of the Shao Show. We've missed it. We really have. Zipman took over when he went and killed, but now, finally. Yeah, it's not the Shao Stopper, but hey, we'll take what we can get, all right? I'm liking him on the Jet for now. Nukie, not a chance coming around the side swipe. Angel's ready, and G2, they're struggling. A little bit of a miss from Shao on 70 HP. He might be, well, on 20 HP, he might be a little cautious for going out for another peek. I think that operator's been a little bit nerfed in this round, putting G2 in a pretty winnable spot, honestly.
He's just that man. He's always in the corner. They even expect him to be there, but it doesn't matter. Demasick is so clinical. Oh, that is just brutal. Like, the thing is, you knew that he would be on the lurk somewhere. Like, G2 knew he would be there. He always is. He's always waiting for you to walk around the corner. And as I've said before, like, the worry for me now, like, I think Demasick is much better on the attack. Like, he's not a bad Cypher player when it comes to the defensive side. But his lurks on any map, but this one in particular, I think is just absolute filth. So, if you're already struggling to deal with him now, I don't know if I see a way back, and it's only 7-3.
Dimasick's defensive Cypher play is only ever nerfed by the fact that his team are so good, and often he doesn't get to make those kind of plays to completion. because this team's already won the rounds. So when I look at this guy on the attack, though, he creates his own space. It's unbelievable to watch him play, and especially on Icebox, I think G2 are in for a pretty rough time. 7-3 down. They need to reach 5. They need to win this round and follow up with another. Of course, Mixwell, only 1 point of his Viper's Pit is actually online. Of course, we saw him get picked off the second. I don't think the voice line even played. It was like the second that he pressed the button, boom,
I didn't realize
he was opt out of the round. Yeah, I only saw it in the replay. He was doing the animation, but he had only just started it. This push up top, though, a little bit risky from Zipan. He's going to go down off the bat. That's the res out of the round. And FPX, they've got, well, indeed, both reses. They've got a little bit of a rotate towards this A site, but it's not really worth where they've ended up. This has to be a huge flank from Angel.
Spike planted.
Shadow not having any utility left, it's going to be difficult to pop back in, but you know what? You mentioned it. You mentioned Angel's flank. He's already managed to pick off one. Mixor gets into the corner, but it seems like Shadow is prepared for it. And now it's left into a 1 versus 3 for Kellogg's. Trying to pull this one back. Wrapping around the site, spotted by Xiao. The shot's missed, but he's isolated. He's pulled back into an awkward position, and it's going to be an 8th round on the board for FPX.
No need for this.
Well, Tom, at this point, I hate to say
switch.
it, but I don't really see G2 coming back into this one, man. This is way too big of a lead to give FPX, and when they come onto their attack side, I'm scared of what Xiao's going to be able to do. We know Dimisic, he's already having a great series. Just give him that extra space on the attack, and well, we're going to need some heroes over on G2, and a man that we often talk about as a really strong player. In fact, one that really caught our eye, as well as Mixwell in the previous series we were casting of G2, Avova.
Yeah.
He's really not having a good game right now.
I don't think it's about to get any easier. They're going to try and challenge the Viper's Pit, or at least fight for the orb.
Get out of
The
my
drone.
way.
There's already a push coming through it. The drone trying to clear him out, but Angel's prepared for it. He's ready and waiting. Zipan will, however, go down. Oh, it's awkward, but Angel gets away with it. And now the rest of the team have to try and pressure onto him, but it's Avova's wrapped from behind that could be the difference maker, and they're going to bring back Kellogg's as well.
That's a really smart flank by Avova. He put a smoke down so they couldn't actually see him as he wide swung out to face site, then used his shadow step across to get back to his teammates. Now they've got that advantage. They've got the res in. Everything is going G2's way right now. FPX are on the back foot and trying to buy their way back, and it doesn't look like it's even possible. There's 3 players behind Yellow. They'll have to isolate so many duels, and they are just traded on again and again. That is G2 picking up 4 rounds. It's not a great half, but it's doable. If they get the pistol, they could be back up there, but right now FPX are definitely in the driver's seat.
Yeah, for sure. I think as well, they have a lot more delaying power. Like, I still think that the paranoia is a ridiculously strong ability for actually slowing down these pushes. We see it actually fly through there from Nuki. I don't think it quite reached, but nonetheless, it worked as a perfect distraction to give him that kill. And now, as you said, like a pistol's going to be huge for G2, but I do still think there's opportunities. Like players like Kellogg's, like if he can get, well, the main thing is they have to get that early economy so that we get to see his operator. If not, it's going to be awkward and there might be a force buy or two, which if we miss that, I think it's going to be disappointing, because one of the main ways we see this defensive side really pop off is that aggressive jet off.
Flash through. Oh, the recon shallow as well. Shadow's going to be able to take Coldamenta down. The panic play inside of middle definitely didn't benefit them there, and Xiao has gone right up on top to get that plant in. Avova's trying to sneak up on him, and the right click is good for the kill. Now, though, surrounded. There's players absolutely everywhere. He's not going to try and defuse this, is he? Oh, the wall doesn't actually work. It gets clipped off right at the start, and so Kellogg's 1 versus 3 to try and make this recovery. We said they need the pistol, and they do not have it. FPX, they pull up on 9 rounds, looking likely to hit double digits before G2 even get off the starting block here on their defensive side.
That was a beautiful pistol execution. I love the poison cloud just dropping in to give the cover. The dash through, like they had a clear plan. They knew exactly what they were going to do in this round. The push through under tube, and then not only that, but once they get the plant in, they have all of these positions ready for the elevated plant spot. That is as good a pistol round as you're ever going to see.
And for FPX, this could be the start of something beautiful. I don't know if you remember the last time that they played G2, but it was 3-2, and I swear, like, one shot was the difference on every map. They were super close over in Blast Grand Finals. It was horrendous, because I was like, this is the time. This is where FPX finally beat G2, and they were robbed of it by literally a couple of aim duels. Now we end up in a spot where FPX on paper look better for the last couple of months, but they've been slippery coming into this tournament. G2 have looked better than ever before with the merger on Heretics, a team that I think definitely could have been number one. They could have pushed all the way, but combining with G2, they look even better.
Spike planted.
Already seeing a round that is looking like it's well and truly over. Of course, not much invested into this from G2 whatsoever. It's going to be slowly breaking through the wall. Now, he does have one of his own, but it's whether that piece of utility is actually worth being used. And you know what? Zipan has decided he's not even going to give him the chance. Nice shot from Mixwell, though. A couple of dinks, but it's not really going to match up to anything too expensive for FPX. If Kellogg's can maybe get one more, though, that would at least make this round quite costly.
25 HP, I'm not so sure about that one. And a nice attempt, let's say. We end up on double digits for FPX. Looking dominant at this point. I mean, if you're G2, I know teams will say that, oh, when they get 3 rounds or they get 10-2'd or something like that, they always believe they can come back. And that's definitely the mentality you need. You can't count yourself out, but at the same time, you've always got that realistic whisper in the back of your head. Oh, we can definitely count them out, don't get me wrong. But I think there's also this element of realism that's there, like, okay, this is a pretty bad spot. You know, you're like, yeah, let's not be upset if we lose this one, you know, put it that way. But Kellogg's, I like that early fight. He goes aggressive and ends up catching Angel completely off guard. Dimisik's going to go back and try to trade it out, and he's not getting anything done either.
Good start from Kellogg's. Exactly what they needed, but this is still one of those rounds where, as we've sort of said before, we don't expect a massive amount from FPX. And a clean start here for G2 would be almost everything. Even just some orbs being farmed up, maybe get Zipan closer to that res, or even the Blaze Storm for Xiao, which really isn't far away. Maybe they can at least make the next round a little bit more challenging. Now, Coldamenta, he's got a cheeky crossfire here, but Mixwell is going to whiff the shots, not connect onto anybody. Too many targets, and now Coldamenta's left! This goes from what should have been an easy round to now in contest.
Spike planted.
Volva about to be wolfed out as well. They know exactly where he is thanks to the tiger dog animal. But Kellogg's, he's able to shut down Xiao, making his way towards this smoke where Zipan's waiting on the edge to swing through and take a kill. A free upgrade in weaponry for him, and he's going to need it. Oh no, in fact, he sticks with the Spectre, making his way around to find the first, and now this could be the 3K to close it. It is 11 on the board for FPX. Zipan, he goes, he kills, and FPX, they really are killing it on this map, looking set to take it at this point.
He's another one. I put Zipan in like that bracket with Doma, where I just watch him and I'm like, how are you good on every agent? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, we saw him playing Brimstone the other day and just being like, what?
Yeah,
like, why have you put this man on Brimstone? And then he's like, oh, don't worry, lads. I'm still just going to wreck anyone that comes into my crosshair. Like, it doesn't make sense. I don't know how he's this young and this talented. In other words, I'm incredibly jealous. Screw you, Zipan.
Someone check in PC. Yes. You know, we thought at some stage, you know, they'd sat down at the wrong PCs in the boot camp, like Angel had sat at Zipan's one and was buying up that Brimstone. But hey, depth is something that we've talked about for a long time, and I feel like it's really starting to take the forefront of our minds now with more agents being added in again and again. We're seeing players being able to diversify, and I think the change in the era is apparent by the fact that Mixwell is playing a Viper. That to me signals, you know, the death of old Valorant, of I play Jet and that is what I do.
Hey, Cena here,
when Mixwell changes.
Although he's been playing a bit of Sage.
Listen, CNET is an exception to the rule, for sure. I don't think anybody puts up the same kind of numbers that guy does. Certainly not on the operator. And I think if you're having a conversation with him saying, hey, dude, I think you might want to play Brimstone, he's going to slap you in the face, and rightfully so.
Yeah. You should slap yourself in the face for even suggesting something like that. But no, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry.
So immediately, what I'm seeing here, G2 have actually smoked out middle. I kind of had to wait a sec to process that, because you'll notice that that smoke on mid is exactly where the Viper Poison Orb is, because typically that's what FPX want to use to steal away mid information. Instead, G2 are almost stealing it away from themselves. It won't seem to play any impact on this one, but they do have to constantly be cautious of that mid flank. But in the end, they'll roll the dice and move towards the A site, which is the correct decision. Now 5-man stack as FPX run right on into this meat grinder, and it's a Volva to grab 2. A slow goes down, a wall on the left. They're just going to focus up on Shadow. But when I say they, I notice Volva's the only one left. He's going to ace out this round, and another clean shot to Angel makes this oh so doable. Look at the HP. 2 shots to Xiao. Shadow is 1 hit, but they're going to swing together, and Shadow takes him easily. 12-4. That lifeline that it looked to be slips out of G2's hands, and FPX are just 1 away from a dominant victory.
Who saw this coming? Like, I get it's map 1, it's the choice of FPX. Like, obviously we know that they're a team that just seem to put in unbelievable amounts of work, especially when it comes to facing off against the top teams. I feel like there's just a different level of how much these teams practice. But come on, did we really look at this as like a 12-4? Like, I didn't. I thought that this would be a battle, especially both of these teams played Vitality. Both of these teams went to overtime. Now, sure, that doesn't mean that every game is going to be that way. But this is ridiculous. Cold Amenta, though, he's woken up, but the res is going to come back through. Zipan trying to hold on, but Kellogg's has found another.
This is starting to look good for G2 in this round. It does seem like a consolation prize, if anything. No. Oh, they can't lose this one, Tom. They can't lose this one. Dimasix already got himself a double, evened up the numbers. Xiao waiting inside middle, knows exactly where Nukia is. But he has to cross him. Doesn't even have the dash. It's going to be a straight up face. A little bit of a tag coming through, but Xiao, he crosses back over. That's such a sneaky play. Nukia doesn't expect it at all, and G2, all their hope rests on Evolva's shoulders. He's moving back up towards Kitchen, which is the right move here, because Dimasic is still sat in, waiting for him to make a move. And he hasn't spotted him. He's gonna res. Dimasic's coming up through the alleyway now, through the halls. He's gonna have the flank of his dreams on this, Tom. Neither player expects him to be here, and why would they? A free kill to Evolva, and Mixwell left to clutch it out. 1 versus 2. Doesn't have anything to actually blind up the site. His wall is there, but it's way too far back. They can easily spam him in that corner. I don't see a way that he gets away with this one. With a Phantom as well. Insult to injury at this point. The defuse is tapped. He hopes that someone peeks him, but the sprays confirm that they're far away, and as the wall falls down, Xiao just